This conference will now be recorded.
So in our yesterday's session, we have seen the sales and operation planning. How do we create the product group materials? How do we give the proportion of demand that has to be divided into the materials? And how it will go from inactive version to active version in MD61 screen, which is PIRs, Plant Independent Requirements. So we'll take it forward from that particular stage where we have the demand. We'll go in MD04 screen. So you can write stock requirement or you can write MD04 and it will give you the Fiori tile. So my product is Maruti Brezza. And then I have the requirement which is of strategy 10 and it is LSF. And I have 200 quantities, current stock is 0. Okay, so the same activity will be there. You can go ahead and check for all the materials because these are new materials. Everything will be off as 0 stock right now. But just to give you the idea, here you can see the requirement. But if you go to the materials right now, it will be blank. There is no requirement which is flown, okay, or passed to my dependent components or raw materials. Because my MRP has still not ran. Okay, I have not executed MRP. So when we execute MRP now, what will happen? It will consider my raw materials, which is available in the BOM. It will explode and it will give you the requirements here in this particular screen based upon my BOM components. Okay, so if my engine is 1:1, for one car I need one engine. So for 200 cars, I would need 200 engines. So it will give me a purchase requisition for 200 engines. But in the case of tires, we need 400 tires. Sorry, 4 tires per car, right? So it will be 4 into 2, 200, 800 tires. I should be getting it. But again, if the lot size is different, then MRP will behave in a different way. Okay, here what lot size I'm using PK in my tires, so it will give you a different scenario. It will give you a different output than my engine. Okay, because my lot size is different here. HB will give you something different because it is having a different lot size. So this is exactly that we need to analyze that how my system is behaving with different lot size with different MRP procedures. Okay, so we'll first execute the MRP and then we'll analyze one by one. So if you guys are coming from ECC, no exposure on S4HANA, then this is a new concept for you regarding the MRP live. Okay, so before we execute MRP and then start analyzing, we need to discuss about what is difference between classical MRP, which is available in ECC, versus what is available in S4HANA. Okay, why MRP live is different? Because this is one very important and common question will be asked to you guys as soon as you say that I have worked on S4HANA. Then the difference will be definitely asked to you, like what difference did you find between classical MRP which was available in ACC and what is difference between MRP live. Okay, so any exposures, anything, any inputs you have right now? What is MRP live? What is classical MRP? Any one of you have experienced any information?
Sir, in MRP Live, you can do interactive planning. Like if there is any after the MRP Live, once you execute the MRP transaction, so if there is any problem in any components, you can do the changes or you can do the required action there itself. That is one of the action, and there are some of these screens. Yeah. Once what I remember is one this right now.
Okay, So if you have faced that, or if you have experienced that, which I think I have not experienced yet, so whatever issues I have, I can rectify it. I think it's not possible because I don't see the simulation mode here. Okay, because whatever I run will be directly going in my system. So that is one difference to start off with. Okay, so we'll do one thing. We'll come out of this Fiori app right now for time being. We'll go to our ECC screen, or we will say the old screen, which is still on S4 HANA. Okay, and we'll compare it here. I do have a document as well, which I'll give you. So in classical MRP, we used to have MD01. Okay, this is one transaction. MD02, this is second transaction. MD03 is my third transaction. Okay, so in classical MRP, I have three transactions: MRP run, single level item, single item multi-level, and single item single level. Okay, so three transactions I have, and if you notice this MRP control parameters, okay, the processing key, this is now not available in S4 HANA. So MD01N will start from the very first part, the scope of planning. Okay, so what all materials, okay, what all material types I need to plan, okay, was part of scope of planning in MRP run. And I have only one plant I can run, and then I have to create a variant in the background job for MRP run one by one for each plant. That was one of the challenges which we used to face. If you see all three transactions, you will get only one option of giving one plant at a time. Okay, one plant at a time. But this is solved now with MRP Live. Here you can give multiple plants. And the coding, okay, and the database which MRP used to fetch earlier was Oracle database, which used to take a lot of time to do the calculations and give you the output. But this MRP Live is based upon, I think it's SQL based programming which they have done, and they are using their own database, which is pretty quick. Okay, if you run it, it will be giving you the output for multiple materials, for multiple plants in very less time as compared to classical MRP. So whenever you are facing this question, you have to start off with that scope of planning is not available now, which used to be available in classical MRP. The other thing, I can run MRP live on multiple plants, which is not available in classical MRP. So these are pros right now. Okay, the good options, what I have. What are the bad options, or the options which I still miss from classical MRP? I'll tell you about that.
But Harsh, actually the in MD01 scope of planning is there, no?
That's what I'm saying. It is there in old MRP. On S4 HANA, we are using MRP live.
Oh,
It is not.
okay, okay.
I'm giving you the comparison right now between ECC and S4 HANA MRPs. Okay. And
Okay.
just add one more thing, that S4 HANA still allows you to use your old transactions. Okay. So these old transactions are still available in S4 HANA. They have not completely removed, but there are few transactions which they have completely removed. So now when we go to Migo screen in ECC, we still have Migo, and we still have these screens, MB1C, MB1A, all those things I still have in ECC. But if you give MB1C, MB1A, MB1B, which used to be partition of Migo screens, these are complete obsolete in S4 HANA. So they have removed these transactions. Having said this, my classical transactions are still available. I'm accessing not ECC system, I'm still on S4 HANA system, and I can open these old MRP transactions. Okay, so in some scenarios where I still need the old classical MRP, why would I need and which scenarios I would need, I'll come to that point, but let us compare first. Okay. Here I have the product group, which is part of my SNOP process, right, which we have discussed. That is not available here. Now I can plan my product group also with MRP. All right. The biggest challenge in the ECC was MRP controller. So this question will be definitely this answer would be definitely expected from you guys if you say you have worked on S/4HANA, that MRP controller was not available in my old ECC transactions, MD0, 1, 2, 3. Okay. And we used to do enhancement on this by implementing one user exit, and then it would give me MRP controller that I can run MRP based on MRP controllers also. So SAP has now included that in your main screen of MRP Live, right? Material scope. So we used to have different transactions for MRP and MPS materials. Here you can run from directly one transaction. Here you can use MRP materials also, and if you're using any MPS materials, which is MRP type M1, M2, M3, M4, you can still use this one transaction to plan all of these. Okay, we don't have to go to a separate transactions. Coming to this part, I have this single item, single level, right? But I have only one transaction in MRP Live. So if I want to run it on only one material, what are my options? I will not click on this particular box, all BOM order components. Then what will happen? It will plan that particular single material which I'm giving here. So I don't have to go to one transaction in MD03 and plan for that material. And MD02 is my single item multi-level. That means if I'm giving on Brezza, Maruti Brezza here, it will plan my engine also, it will plan my tires also, it will plan all components which are part of my BOM with this transaction MD02. Now, how do I achieve this in MRP Live? I will just click on this, all BOM order components. So it will do a multi-level planning for me. Okay. And after you have run the MRP, you have changed any components, then you have to put a check mark here as well. So that particular changed component will be also planned. Say for example, you had this MRF tires. Now you have changed that, okay, MRF tires are not in stock. I'll change my BOM components to Bridgestone or Apollo, right? So how do I want to consider that particular change? I'll do that. I'll click on this particular change. Okay. Now I can also plan my stock transfer materials. That means from one storage location to another storage location, I can plan, which was not possible through MRP class or classical MRP. Okay, if I'm going to Migo and I'm doing 541 movement type, which is stock transfer. Storage location A has stock, storage location B does not have, and I have created a movement type. So that particular movement type will be considered by MRP Live, and it will give you the proposals that, okay, do not create new proposals for stock B, storage location B, because there is something which is already in process, and there is material coming from storage location A or a plant A to plant B. So MRP can consider those new in process changes also, okay, or in process items also, especially for stock transfers, which is not possible here. Okay, I cannot consider my stock transfers here. Now, what these are the good things. Okay, what are the cons, okay, or bad things which I do not like personally, because this will be also asked to you that what are the good things you like about MRP Live and what are the things which you do not like. So personally, from my point of view, I used to like the simulation mode. Okay, so in single level, I think it will not be there. In multi-level, the simulation mode is something which I personally like a lot, because I want to plan some material and I want to see the output without saving my output. Okay, this is called simulation mode. I want to simulate and see how my system is behaving. And if I like it, I'll go ahead and save that simulation output. If I don't like, I'll do some changes, again run simulation mode, right? I can do that. But here in MRP Live, if I run something, that is directly going and saving in my materials. If I don't like what I need to do, I need to do a regenerative planning. That means restarting MRP from the scratch, and whatever changes I have done post my previous run, again those things will be considered. So I don't have option of simulation here. Scheduling is still available, planning mode is still available, which I have it here as well. Okay. Another important thing I would like to tell you. So here I have 1, 2, and 3 in my planning mode, and here I think I have only 2. Okay. So here I have adapt planning data and delete and recreate planning data. I do not have option of explode my BOM again. Re-explode BOM and routing, I don't have it. So this is gone. So these changes, you have to make a note, you have to write it down. There is, like I mentioned, there is one document I think I have, which I can give you, which will cover these changes. Okay. And if anything, if I missed, those things will be there. But mostly I am covering everything. So second option is gone. I have only 1 and 2 in MRP Live, adapt planning data, delete and recreate planning data. So when do we use delete and recreate planning data? Like I mentioned, I'll be going with this regenerative planning, and my plan is already saved because I do not have simulation mode. Now I want to delete that plan and do new changes. Then I have to go with 3 with regenerative planning. Then the old data will be deleted and new data will be created. If I do adapt planning data, then what will happen? Only the changes will be considered, but my data will still remain same. If I have 100 plan orders, my plan orders will still be the same. Okay, that's why I need to do delete and recreate data. Sometimes we need to do this. And then I have scheduling, which is still available with me. I have basic dates and I have lead time scheduling. So when I'm running MRP, I'll tell you what is lead time. Apart from that, yeah, another main important part here, I have this 2 options: delivery, create the delivered schedule lines, okay, and create purchase requisition. These 3 things, okay, including processing key, create purchase requisition, and my third option, schedule lines, are removed now. Even the MRP list is removed. I do not see the output. Okay, I cannot create MRP list. So these 4 options are removed from MRP Live. So what it impacts here, what I used to do is, if I want to force my system that my material is of procurement type F, which is externally procured, but I can force my system to create me a plan order for that. Here I have options that create a plan order or create a purchase requisition. Okay, 2 options I have that I can force vice versa. If I'm manufacturing something in-house, I can force my system to create me a purchase requisition. Ideally, it should be plan order and vice versa of that. But here in MRP Live, these options are removed. I cannot force my system any way that if you're manufacturing in-house, create me a purchase requisition. No. Based upon my procurement type, if I have chosen E, I will get plan orders. If I have chosen F, I will be getting purchase requisition. What if I'm choosing X? Now the question from the interviewer will come as, you have told me this, E gives you plan order, F gives you purchase requisition. What will happen in the type of X, which is you can do both, right? So by default, system will give you plan order, not a purchase requisition. If you choose X, you will get plan order. That can be further converted to a purchase requisition from MD04 screen, which is possible, which was possible earlier also. Okay, but they want to evaluate your understanding on the process, how much knowledge you have, okay, and how many scenarios you may have run. So yeah, these are the, I think, complete overview which are the changes from MRP, classical MRP to MRP live. Okay, and then we will execute and see how it behaves. And one more important thing, MRP live, it can plan my PPDS materials also. Okay, so for PPDS, I do not have to execute any other transaction. If my materials are externally planned, which I have advanced planning tick mark or advanced planning view in my material, those materials will be also planned by MRP live. This is how they have done the programming now. Okay, coding. So yeah, if you say all these information when you get this question, you are passed. So we'll go to the Fiori screen back and close this. I don't want to log off. Okay, so we'll write plant is 1710. It is stuck. Now it is coming. Maruti Brezza, and then I want to plan all my components. Right now, this is a very first run, so I don't need to check mark on regenerative planning. Scheduling mode will go with basic dates right now, and then we'll do lead time scheduling later on. And planning mode, adapt planning data 1. Because this is my first run, I do not have any data already that I want to delete and recreate. And click on execute. Okay, so here I get a list that my 6 materials are planned. Materials with messages, if there are any errors, I can see from here, which is not there. Okay, stock requirement list. So see, there is no simulation mode that I could utilize, right? So it will give me direct results and it will directly come over here. If I refresh, I should get purchase requisitions here, right? This is what exactly I was saying. So now, based upon my BOM components and the quantity which I have mentioned on my finished product, I'm getting the requirements. So it is giving me a dependent requirement which is coming from Maruti Brezza. And how much I need? I need 200 engines for 200 demand. Okay, this is pretty straightforward. Now we'll analyze other materials. We'll just copy one by one from here. Okay, this is giving you 50, 50, 50, and 50 for a 200 requirement. Why this is breaking down? Because we would have used fixed lot size. Here we have used EX, which is lot for lot. So lot for lot says that 200 is your demand, and I will give you exact lot size, which is 200 purchase requisition. But when we are using fixed lot size, and we would have assigned my fixed lot in my material master, if I go to my material master, and here I have defined fixed lot size and I have given a quantity that how much a fixed lot size should be created when MRP runs. So it is giving me a maximum of 50 can be only created, or a fixed lot size of 50 has to be created, not even maximum, it is fixed. So to meet my requirement of 200, it break down into 50 plus 50 100 and again 50 plus 50 100, which becomes 200 for me. Okay, and if
Harsh,
this yeah,
is there any hard and fast rule that which MRP type we are using for the particular material, raw material or semi-finished material? Means
no
what
no
I'm
no There is no
fixed.
hard and fast rule. There is no hard and fast rule from SAP until and unless you are able to meet your customer's requirement. So we need to analyze that which MRP will be best suitable for the customer requirement. So I gave you example